Well, hello everyone. Betty, we are back in the city of Xi'an, China, and today we're going to learn about a couple of different things. First of all, we're going to learn about jade, and there's so much to learn about, so let's listen to our guide.
My name is Xiao. Yeah, it's my family name. Okay, it's easier. Xiao in China means the small, right? Not bigger. Okay, so would you like follow me to see the beautiful jade first?
Fine, yes.
All right, go this way, please. If you like sit on the chair, I will give explanation first. Because I'm worried you have no idea about jade. Is that right? You know, Xi'an is a famous city from the old ancient China. In this area, about 60% jade in China excavated in this area. That's why we call Xi'an a beautiful name, Jade City. And we love the jade because we believe jade is a special material. Sometimes if you wear the jade jewelry or put the jade stuff in your house, we believe jade can change our fate, can get the evil art, can protect our body. That's why we love the jade. So, do you like our mystery story of the jade? Sure. And all of the jade, we get it from the different area. Most of the jade, we get it from mountain and the river, bottom of the river. So, in the jade family, only one green color is the mistake. The jade family, they got all of different color. Besides the green, we have some pink jade, lavender, white, strong, black, all of different color jade. So choose the jade really. First, depend on your personal taste, which color you like. And the Chinese people believe different color can bring us special life. For example, green color. No matter you like the light green or the dark green, we believe can good to health. It's healthy life with us. Yeah. Green color is healthy. In the jade family, we got two kind of jade. One is a hard jade, one is a soft jade. Compare these two groups. Which is the better? I mean, which is the more valuable piece? For us, it's hard to see which is the better because different jade, the characteristic is quite different. But for our normally piece, ordinary piece, we see the hard jade is better than the soft jade. We get it from the mountain. We name this jade as a du jade. Chinese words du means the special, unique, because the color quite different, one piece. It's hard to make the pattern, make the design. From beginning to end, if one person want to do this one, it's an artist work. Designer and cover one person. So in the world, it's impossible to find a second similar one because the natural color is different and the people, they use the artist's eyes to make decision, the design. Compare the du jade, the hard jade, look at this one. Yeah. Remember, most of the softer jade, we get it from the river. And the color, very light, such like this one. We call this xiu jade, X-I-U, xiu. Chinese word xiu means the pretty, beautiful. Look at this color, even the thicker here. See? Yeah. Show you this one. See? Yeah. This is a very good transparency. So this is the famous soft jade because it's a degree about 4.8.
Well, Betty, that's so interesting that there are so many colors of jade and also that there's soft jade and hard jade.
Yeah.
And that these artisans, I mean, they do the design on it and then they do the cutting and the polishing, the whole thing.
Yeah, they're the real artists, aren't they? I bought a jade tree years ago when Joe and I went to Japan, and it has all the little leaves on it in jade, and that's how I first learned that they were multicolored, or that there was multicolored jade. I thought jade's green, you know?
Yeah, well, I think most people are familiar with the green jade like we're seeing right here. But as she said, it comes in all sorts of different colors. It just was amazing to me, and it's amazing to watch these artisans.
The patience, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I got one
really.
slip and you ruin your whole thing there.
Well, you would, wouldn't
And
you?
you know what I notice that really disturbs me is they don't they don't have protection. I mean,
No, not
the
very much.
the machinery doesn't have the little safety things on them.
Well, OSHA would have a field day over there, wouldn't they?
I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, hopefully they don't have any injuries from that, but they are so fantastic. I mean, the designs that they have, and there were so many, many different designs that we saw. And then we were also taken into another area where the expensive jade,
at
as we
that.
see right here. Now, these are museum pieces almost.
Think of the manpower that went into creating one of these.
What gets me is the imagination that the people have. I mean, you know, to be able to do this, especially when you're working with something like stone. I mean, it's just to me, it's really wonderful to see, and I really do appreciate now learning so much more about jade than I knew before we visited this jade factory in Xi'an, China.
Even a teapot. Look at that.
How about that? Well, we're going to listen now to our guide as we learn some more wonderful things about
The
China.
name of this village is Banpo, B-A-N-P-O, Banpo. Means, in Chinese, it means half slope. So this is why you have so many stairs over here. It was discovered in 1953 by accident. When people building the factory, foundation of the factory over here, they found some broken pieces of pottery utensils. That was how we found this village. According to the archaeologists, this village existed more than 6,000 years ago, and it was New Stone Age village. You know, there was 3 differences between the New Stone Age and Old Stone Age. The first, the New Stone Age people, they knew how to polish the stone as a production tool. At the site of the excavation, we have found a lot of stone tools, and all of them, they were once polished. And the second, the New Stone Age people, they knew how to make the pottery utensils by clay. We found a lot of broken pieces of pottery utensils for the different purpose, for cooking, for the storage. And the third, the New Stone Age people, they had settled habitation. So they settled down here for a very long time. This is not floating anymore. So this is the three most important difference between the New Stone Age and the Old Stone Age. If man's history had more than 3 million years, the Old Stone Age would take 2,990,000 years of age. So the Old Stone Age lasts the longest. Only about 10,000 years ago, the people, they knew how to make the potteries, they knew how to make the polish, how to polish stones as a production tools. That was the beginning of the New Stone Age. This village about 6,000 years old. So it was at the development stage of the New Stone Age. So people, they made a lot of utensils and stone tools. And according to the archaeologists, this is the commune. This is a matriarchal society. So the women decided everything in this village. So there was no private ownership and no private mentality. People, they worked together and enjoyed equal distribution from the commune. Just depends how many people in your home, in your family. And since this is the matriarchal society, women decided everything. So even the marriage, the women decided decided the marriage. According to the archaeologists, at this time, the women, they didn't have the husbands. They had many male concubines, actually. At that time, how do we know that? This is the feature of the New Stone Age, according to the archaeologists. At that time, the men mainly engaged in hunting and fishing, so they left the village very often. So the women stayed in the village, take care of the children, take care of the simple farming. So actually, all the women, they were the owners of the houses. So when the houses were empty, they just put a kind of sign on the gate or on the door. So after men came back from hunting or fishing, they just followed the sign and walk in.
Anyone.
Yeah, anyone. If yes, anyone. So anyone. So we have a special term for the marriage, like this. We call it walking marriage. Just a walking marriage. South, in the south part of China, there is a small tribe. About 4,000 people live there. You know, that is the matriarchal society. The women, they choose the husband. And even for the visitors, when they go there, if the lady in that village like you, she will offer you a drink. But if you accept the drink she offered to you, you have to stay. You have to stay with her. So it's very dangerous. So it's very dangerous for the visitors. If you don't understand the custom, if you drink the drink she give to you, you have to stay there forever. So that is another matriarchal society still existing right now in southern China. So all the children, according to the archaeologists, they don't know who's their father were. They only follow their mothers.
They wouldn't know who the father was anyway, would they?
Yeah. Actually, this is a very important discovery in China because the archaeologists believed this is the cradle of Chinese ancient civilization. The people live here, they were the ancestors of Chinese. You know, in this time, there was no written language, no language. But the people, they created some symbols and marks to record something important. That was the origin of Chinese written language. So this is a very important discovery in China. This is the cradle of Chinese ancient civilization. Okay, let's. You know, originally in 1953, we discovered more than 50,000 square meters. So this museum only covers about 3,000 square meters. So this is only a small part of original village. And this village consists of 3 sections. The living quarter, at that time, people, they lived together. So they built the house at a certain place. And the second, that is pottery making section. People, they built a lot of kilns over there to bake the pottery utensils. Third, that is a cemetery. After village died, all of them, they were buried in the cemetery. And from the tomb, we found that the women, they had more burial objects than that for men. So from this point, we can tell the women took more important role than men in this village because they had more burial objects than men.
So Betty, this was our first visit to Bangpo, and to me, this was really a learning experience. As he said, this was the cradle of Chinese civilization right here. This is where it all started.
I thought, I read an article on this, I got it off the email, and I thought it was so interesting because they have discovered that our Indians have used the same type of living that early Indians, you know. So we learned, of course, and they wouldn't know anything about China. So this must be some type of an instinct that we're born with to know how to survive.
Might be, because we saw that there were different types of construction over the period of time as the huts developed into houses, and then also these tombs that we see here. That the people were buried in. There was a multi type of grave that we see right here, where people were buried, and then there was a 2-man grave, a 1-man grave, a 4-man, I should say, and women, because the women were the ones who, this was matriarchal society, as John had said, right? And to me, that was interesting. And here we can see, too, some of the progression of how the houses developed, their dwellings developed over a period of time. And this was very interesting because we had not visited this place before on our trips to China. And here we can see this. But now we're going to go out into the garden in back, and we're going to listen to this young lady play this fantastic instrument. So I hope that you'll enjoy this. don't think I could play you that instrument, but I certainly enjoyed listening to it. Maybe we're going to travel on now. We're going to get closer to the terracotta figures and visit the 3 different pits that we will see here. And here we can see that's the original one that we visited about 13 years ago.
But it didn't have all that pavement and stuff in front of it.
Or souvenir shops either.
No.
But this was wonderful, and that they have discovered so much more. And we're also going to get a chance to see the man who did the first discovery back in the 1970s in a little bit. But we're going to listen to John now. He's got some wonderful explanations for us.
68 terracotta soldiers, 4 horses, 1 carriage in this pit. You know, I didn't mention that before. All the terracotta soldiers, they were here arranged according to the real battle formation of the Qing dynasty. All of them, they were built in life size, and all of them, they had real weapons in their hands. So according to the battle formation of the Qing dynasty, according to the archaeologists, pit number 3 should be the command post of the battle formation. So this is why only a few soldiers in this pit. Actually, they are the bodyguards of the generals. They stand outside the general's office, facing to each other to guard the general's safety. So they are ready anytime to take the general to the battlefields. So in 1976, we found pit number 3. So the way we found pit number 3 is just like this. All of them, they were broken. Just like this. So after many years restoration, so if you go there, you are going to see some of them are intact. But originally, all of them, they were broken. So the archaeologists took the broken pieces up and restored them and put them back where they took. So some of them are broken, some of them are intact. And also in this pit, you are going to see the pictures on the wall. You know, they were taken in 1974 or 1976 when they were first discovered. So you can see the colors on the bodies. But since they were open to the air, the condition changed. So the color decayed gradually. So right now you cannot see the colors on the bodies. So when we're going to see the pit number 1, you are going to see some soldiers still have a little bit of colors on the bodies, but not too much. You cannot see too many soldiers in this pit, but you are going to see the original roof on top. You can see the roof. So originally, all the 3 pits, they were covered with a roof, wooden roof, like this. But since the heavy dirt on top, and also because the wood were buried 2,000 years underground, so all the wooden roof collapsed and damaged all those terracotta soldiers. And also in this pit, you are going to see the different soldiers. You know, you are going to see the kneeling archers, standing archers, and carriage, and saddled horses. According to the archaeologists, altogether about 1,000 pieces of the soldiers, horses, and carriage can be unearthed from this pit. And the battle formation of this pit is like this. The front soldiers, there is about 130 kneeling archers in the front. They are the front soldiers. Just right behind the kneeling archers, there is another 130 standing archers behind the kneeling archers. So behind the standing archers, there is a carriage. So the foot soldiers on the back of the carriage. And the flank soldiers, they are the saddled horses and the cavalrymen. So how do we know? Because the excavation work is still going on, but how do we know about 1,000 soldiers, horses can be unearthed from this pit? Because before we start the formal excavation, we had some trial excavation. So you can see the square holes over here. So we had some trial excavation to check how many pieces of soldiers and horses underneath certain area. So roughly we know there is about 1,000 soldiers and horses can be unearthed from this pit. In the next 5 to 7 years, the excavation work will be totally finished in this pit. So if you come back again, 5, maybe 7. So Right now, you know, some people still working over there. I don't know if they are working now because it's 2:30, so maybe they are still at home taking nap. But normally when I came here around 3 o'clock, I can see a lot of people.
So as we see here, where they are still doing the excavation, Betty, I thought this was so interesting because you can still see some of the colors on the face here of one of the soldiers.
And you see the little bit of red there on the jacket. Yeah.
And then we also went into the museums too because we wanted to see those that they had dug up and had redone, and they have them there, and see the figure of an officer with the long robe.
They look happy too, don't they? I mean, the expression on their faces, they're not that really grim like we're used to seeing.
Well, I suspect that the artisans that made this knew that these figures were going to be there for thousands of years, at least 2,000 years anyway. But each figure is different. And these were some of the tools that were found there, some of the bronze tools that each of the soldiers and, of course, the archers and whatever had too. But here we see the life-size horse. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my golly! I mean, this is really something.
They did it upright.
They certainly did. Well, it was better than burying real live people. I'll tell you that was one step that they went forward on.
I always found a few of them, you know, somewhere outside the emperor's tomb. And when we building the foundation for the factory, we found a few of them clay figures. So in 1999, we found we found 3 clay figures just outside the emperor's tomb. From the gestures, archaeologists say they are the acrobats. Acrobat figurine, you know.
Yeah, we saw that.
To make the fun of the emperor. So here you can see that.
Well, it's a pretty keen-looking acrobat, if you ask me.
I'm wondering if it was an acrobat or like a jester.
The pay attention is, you know, all the Tekka soldiers you saw before, they were made in life size. But the bronze soldiers, bronze carriage we are going to see now, they were made in half size of life size. So you will see the horses are smaller and the carriage are smaller. Also the figurines are smaller. But it is original. This is the original piece from Qing Dynasty, same age with Great Wall and Tekka soldiers. According to the archaeologists, maybe 200 BC in Qing Dynasty, people, they didn't have enough technology to make the bronze carriage in full size. So they made a half size instead of the full size. So this is why you will see the horses, a carriage are smaller in size.
I really have to apologize because there was not a great deal of light here in the museum, but this is it. This is the real carriage, and these are the real horses.
But this was miniature now. This was not the same size, as we had seen before.
No, John said
it
was half size.
I don't always listen, Mark. So anyway,
that's what he said. He said this was done half size because he said part of that, of course, was made of bronze, and he thought that the archaeologists believed, and there you can see the carriage, that maybe they didn't have the knowledge to make in full size. That was his explanation. But
they had a lot in that little carriage too.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, this was the emperor's, the model of the emperor's carriage that was buried there. But I was, more so than the carriage, I was interested in seeing the horses. And the harnesses that they had here with that. I thought this was very ingenious.
This was a mobile home. No, what do you call that? What do you call those cars that you have that you go traveling in? A recreational vehicle.
Yeah.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, right. Well, that could have been his recreational vehicle.
Recreational vehicle.
And he had to take, of course, along things for his drinks to have hot tea or whatever. These were some pictures that were in the museum of how some of these figures were found. And of course, now here we can see more of the coloration that is there on the soldiers, and it's just too bad that it's not there. And here he is. This is Mr. Yang Huan, who was the gentleman who actually found the terracotta figures as he was working in the fields back in 1970. What was it? 76, I think, something like that. Anyway, so he 74. I'm sorry. There we are.
That's all right.
Okay, let's listen to John one more time.
About 6,000 life size terracotta warriors in this pit. But what we see intact ones are only about 1,000 pieces are intact. The rest of them are still in broken condition. Actually, we say no records about Taikad warriors, but in Qin Dynasty, a lot of people knew there was a project going on here, but maybe they didn't know exactly what's going on here. So a lot of people believe the emperor should bury a lot of treasures nearby. So after they occupied Xi'an, the general he sent a lot of soldiers come here. They want to find something special, something valuable, like the gold, something like this. So they dug here. But after they opened it up, they only found some clay figurines. So they were very disappointed. Also, they were very angry with the emperors. So they destroyed all the clay figurines and took the weapons away and set the fire to the structure. So one, because all the wooden beams, they will once be burnt at the end of the Qin Dynasty. Another, because they were buried more than 2,000 years underground, so the wooden beams collapsed and damaged all those soldiers. So in 1974, when we found those soldiers, all of them, they were broken just like that.
Betty, I was so happy this time that we were able to photograph in here. As you remember, about 13 years ago, when we were there the first time, it was absolutely no photographs were allowed. There were armed guards here in this particular pit. This was the only one that had been opened at the time. And actually, you know, we don't see the whole thing here. You're seeing about half of the pit. The thing is absolutely humongous. I mean, it's very, very big.
Well, it wasn't all finished, you know, either when we were there that many years ago.
That's
and it was all dirt. There was the walls still around encasing the figures. So this was a real different experience for us.
Yes, it was, and it was a real pleasurable one as well. Well, Betty, that's about all time we have. We have trips coming up. Give your phone number, if you will, please.
559-488-7443.
Bye.
Bye-bye.